Hello and welcome to another episode of the Woolly Mastadon Creates podcast, episode 40. My name is Tori or Victoria, the mastermind behind the crazy, and thank you for joining me today. You can find me on a few places on the interwebs before we jump into the episode today. First of all, you can find me on Instagram as at Tori Schaffner. I'm definitely most active there if you want to see what I'm working on a regular basis. You can also find me on Ravelry as lilwestie, Lilwestie. You can also find show notes on the blog, woolymastadon.wordpress.com. I'm of course on YouTube here as Victoria Schaffner, and I am on Facebook. I'm just not as active there, but I do keep the page updated with the most recent episode of the podcast. With that, let's just jump into it. Today is a lovely Saturday. It's January 30th. We are almost out of January of 2021, and that's absolutely wild. I don't understand. It's also episode 40, which means that we're going to hit 50 episodes in 2021, which is kind of exciting. So there is that. But anyway, it's a cloudy day here, so perfect time to podcast because, you're not going to be outside, although it actually looks like winter here. We actually did get snow. Is it anything like the Upper Peninsula would get? No. Did it shut this place down? Yes. Is it hilarious? Also yes. But it's still kind of nice to have snow, so there is that. Anyway, let's just jump into the episode today because I have some finished objects, which may be a little obvious by what I am wearing. And I have more than one, although let's start with the one that's just right in front of you. I finished my featherweight, which is this lovely sweater here that I am wearing. Instead of trying to stand up and show it to you, I'll just insert some photos because I took some this morning to make sure I would have photos to insert of this. But this is the featherweight cardigan by Hannah Fettig. It is a fingering weight cardigan. It is a paid for pattern. Some people do say that the shoulders slope off a little bit. I haven't really noticed that. I did make some modifications to that sweater, but we'll talk about that in a minute. To start, this was knit on US 3.25 millimeter knitting needles, and this is knit out of the Knit Picks Stroll tonal fingering in the eucalyptus colorway. I should have that down by now, but of course, I have to think about it. But yeah, I absolutely love it. The edit I made is that for the collar, this is actually supposed to be a very, very shallow sweater. So it's not supposed to come very far in the front. Actually, if I did it as is, it'd probably be like out here. And I didn't really want that, but there were modifications you could do. The main part of the sweater is you're supposed to just knit stockinette stitch, and then it'll roll a little bit. And I didn't really want this to roll, this part here. So instead, I opted to knit a 1x1 ribbing, which was one of the mods in the pattern. I've also seen people knit lace panels, but that's not what I wanted. I wanted a basic sweater. So I did 1x1 rib. And I really like it. I knit it longer. They suggest knitting 3.5 inches, and I think I'd knit 5. So I did knit it longer on purpose so that there would be more coverage. It is a little higher up at the neck then, so it maybe bunches a little bit there, but I really don't care about that because I just wanted a nice basic cardigan that I could throw on and wear to work. And I have worn it to work once already this week. I wanted to wear it like 3 times, but I needed to take photographs before I wore it to death. So there is that. So I've got this lovely sweater here. Beyond happy with it. Basically already want to knit like 3 more. I probably will knit 1 more at one point at least, but I love it. I love this sweater so much. I love the fit. I love the sleeves. I did knit them a little longer. As you can see, I can pull them over my hands. But that is just because when I get cold at work, that is the way that I try to warm up, is I pull sleeves down over my hands, and I put an extra shawl on, and yeah, so yeah, I love the sweater. Featherweight by Hannah Fettig, highly recommend. It would be a great beginner sweater as well, I would say, so certainly worth a try. If you remember last episode, I had knit the band, and I said I may have to re-knit this band because it wasn't evenly didn't seem evenly distributed, and I was going to block it. And basically, as soon as I finished filming the episode, I looked at the sweater and was like, no, I'm not even going to try to block it. I'm just going to rip it out and redo it. And I'm really glad I did because it was definitely worth it. I got the band correctly the second time, and it looks quite nice. So I will have made sure to insert photos here so you can see it, and I absolutely love it. The next finished object I have is actually something you have never seen before. I started and finished a cat cave. And I don't know if you've seen these going on online, but basically it's like a pet bed that you crochet, but you make it, you won't be able to tell what this is in the frame because it's pretty big. I actually made it maybe too big, but you crochet a bed, basically, and then you crochet the door and then the top. And the door definitely could have been smaller, but I didn't feel that there are free patterns out there if you wanted to use them, and I just didn't bother. I did what I wanted. So this is freeform. But I crocheted a cat cave. I will insert a picture of Midnight using it because if you've watched on Instagram at all, she absolutely loves this thing. And as soon as I started crocheting it, she was laying on it every night when I'd work on it. She would steal it from me. Before it was a cave, when it was just the base, she'd steal it from me. So it took a long time to work on it just because she wanted it so bad, which was kind of hilarious. Let's see. Oh, I have to sneeze. Do I have to sneeze? I don't know. I don't have to sneeze. Yay. But yeah. So it took a lot longer, and actually the only way I finished is I sit at my desk here and I watched podcasts last weekend and finished crocheting this so that she couldn't demand to use it so I could actually finish it. As soon as I finished it, I put it on the floor. I was worried I'd have to like sprinkle catnip in it or something so she would go in. No, she immediately went in there and laid down. She loves it. She loves to sleep in it. She loves to purposely punch it down and sleep on it. Now it is you can see it's very floppy. If I wanted it to stay open all the time, I'd probably have to put like a structure in here, like some dowels or something. I haven't looked too deeply into that right now because she just likes it the way it is. My husband suggested crocheting her a second bed with just the base and no top because then she could use both options and she wouldn't have to squish this down, which I thought was a good idea. I might do that. I have enough yarn for just a base. But yeah, like I said, I'll put in a picture so you can see her using it. Like, she loves to nap in it. She loves it for sneak attacks. I'll set it on the couch next to me because she likes to cuddle on me, but lately if this is on the couch and I want to knit or crochet, she'll sleep in this then. And she likes to like put her paw out and bat at you and then hide, and then you can like put your paw in, and it's a whole game. I love it. This was a US, I don't remember excuse me, let me check the size on here. This was a USK 6.5 millimeter hook, and I used Lion Brand Hometown USA, about 11.5 skeins. But don't freak out, I've had these in my stash for forever. So I used 3 skeins of this dark blue color, and I don't remember the color names anymore because I just whipped the ball bands off, so I couldn't tell you which one was which. I used this dark blue. I used 3 skeins of this lighter teal. I used 2 skeins of this light blue, almost gray. I used 2 skeins of this brown. And then I used 1 and a partial skein of this multicolor at the top. And then I did use some of the brown before I finished that section to line the outside. So yeah, this is complete. All I have left of the yarn is some of this color. I actually have a bit left. I don't know what I'll do with it. Because the color that I have in my stash still is like a bright teal color, what you'd expect me to have. Like this basket color that I have sitting here. So they really wouldn't go together, and I probably will use that on a pet bed. So I don't know, I was thinking this could make really cool pom-poms, or I'll figure out something for it, but this is all I had left. Yeah, I'll insert a photo. Cat cave is done. This is basically what I've been working on this week. I'm not super exciting because this current week I haven't done a whole lot. This was mostly last week that I worked on this and the weekend. Otherwise, that's all my finished objects. I do have a couple works in progress. I still have my blankets going. I have my socks going. I haven't really made enough progress on any of those to show. I have worked on my granny stripe blanket, but again, not enough to show. So that is in the works. So really, it's going to be a short episode because the only other thing I have to show is a new cast on. And there's a story to this. As soon as I finished knitting the sweater, I wanted to cast on another sweater. And last year, I had purchased the yarn to knit this shishui shrug. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And it's this beautiful shawl basically with sleeves. So it turns it into a sweater, so to speak. So I wanted to knit that and I bought the yarn for it. And then I didn't knit it. And it's brioche. I've never knit brioche knitting before. And so I was going to cast it on and I thought, I know I can be good at casting things on, but I feel like I'd be annoyed if I cast it on a lot of stitches and had to redo it because I've never done brioche. So I started with the, what did they call this? The Brioche Starter Hat by Rihanna K. Rihanna K? And it's just a brioche in the round knitted hat. Basically brioche is like almost like a double knitting. It's pretty much reversible and you end up, each row is knit twice. So I've knit a bit on this, but I've only knit not very far because you're knitting each row twice. I'm knitting this out of Knit Picks Stroll. Or no, not Knit Picks Stroll. Good grief. Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Sport in Thirst Heather and Papaya Heather. Everything's buried over here into the cat cave. So Thirst Heather and Papaya Heather. I've had this in my stash for ages, and I just thought it would be a cool high contrast, well, not super high contrast hat, but this is how far I am right now. It is reversible, so that's what the other side looks like. I think it's really cool. It's really fun. Taught myself how to do this in an evening, so it didn't take very long for me to learn it. I did have to rip out the hat once, but that's because I cast it on too large of needles. I followed what the pattern said, and I knew I shouldn't have because I'm a loose knitter, and it just didn't look right. So I cast it on with a smaller needle. This is a US 3.25 millimeter needle, and yeah, I really like it. It's super easy. I'm not sure, admittedly, I'm not sure if I'll finish this project. Let me know if you think I should finish it, because I think it'd be really nice. It's a really warm fabric because it's essentially double knit and it's wool. So it would be really nice and warm as a hat, but I've been wearing my other hat all the time. But maybe I should just, you know, rotate between the two. So anyway, brioche hat on the needles. I didn't start the sweater yet because I chickened out and did this first, which I'm glad I did. Let's see, so that comes up, we'll just blow right through everything here. That's pretty much the only thing that I have to show for work in progress because, like I said, the other items I'm working on, there's really nothing to show. I have no spinning or sewing, and upcoming cast-ons, I'll remind you of the yarn I purchased for the Shishui Strug, because this is not going to be a simple, quiet shawl. I purchased Knit Picks Static in Taos and Beanstalk for this pattern. This sweater / shawl is going to be Burn Your Eyes Up Bright, and I'm very excited about it because I could wear a black sweater under here and wear this to work and be the brightest person in the building, and that is entirely what I intend to do. So I am very excited about this. You do have to add one more color for just an edging, but I'm actually considering using one of those mini skeins I got for the blanket, one of those bright colors as the edging. I think that would have enough yardage. It might not, in which case I'll just steal some from my scraps or from my stash, but this is gonna be exciting. I'm so excited. Otherwise, upcoming cast-ons, I'm kind of hit a roadblock. Like, I finished this sweater. I feel like I just want to knit all the sweaters, but I haven't really thought of any other projects I want to do right now. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Unusual for me. Normally I have 20 projects ideas, but I should just be working on my blankets then, right? Because if I don't have anything else to work on, I should just work on the projects at hand, especially that granny square blanket. So I have things to do. I should just do them. With that, I don't have any stash enhancements. I don't really have any None That Loves to share this week because I've just kind of, I don't know. I haven't been in a crafting mood. I've just been really tired this last week, so that is fine. You know, busy at work. So then I'm home. I get home and I'm tired and I just want to sit and watch a movie with my husband. So, or cook or whatever. So I haven't really been doing a whole lot. Especially, I think I kind of burned myself out by knitting this thing so quickly because it actually made my wrists sore and my hands sore. So I didn't even want to crochet for a few days after the weekend because my hands were a little sore. So I think that kind of fueled it. But now that that's out of my system, I kind of want to actually spin. Let's be honest. I've been thinking about spinning just about every day lately, so I should just do it. Right? Right. Life lately. I've already kind of mentioned it. It's been cold and snowy here, so I think that's part of it too. We kind of just been holing up. Update, we finally did have to turn our heat on. We turned it on Monday, January 25th. It's been like turned on. It just was set to kick in once it got down to a certain temperature. And it finally kicked in on Monday, January 25th. This is the longest in my entire life that I have ever gone without having the heat kick in. So, I mean, thank you neighbors. Our heat bills have been incredibly cheap up till then. And I mean, when I say it had to kick in, it was below zero, and now it hasn't kicked in for a day, so it's not cold in here. So there is that. Weird things. Otherwise, let's see. What else have I got? January is almost over, which is absolutely insane. And I keep reminding myself that this place gets spring. So I probably don't have to prepare for winter to go through May. So that's actually really exciting. And also, update on the bread. I know everybody's been kind of wanting to know what's going on with the bread. I was really mad at myself. The other week, we had a bunch of chores and errands we needed to run. And I didn't feed my starter one night, and I'm not saying that this would have saved it, but I didn't look at it. And the next day I noticed there was mold on the side of the jar because I just hadn't thought to switch out jars. That was my fault. I did it. So RIP Herman 1.0 had to go down the drain, or had to get washed down. So he is no more, but I immediately started another one. The only downside is last weekend I was going to bake bread because the starter was pretty much ready. So, of course, once it was ready, I had to get rid of it. So I'm kind of mad at myself about that, but, you know, it's a learning process. I won't make the same mistake twice, so I started another one. So hopefully I'll have bread in a month. But anyway, other than that, I don't think there's really anything else to share right now. I'm just looking around like, is there anything? I don't think so. I didn't have a lot this week, so hopefully you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please like it, subscribe, comment below, and share it with your friends so we can join this little community on the interwebs. Again, you can find me on Instagram as Tori Schaffner. You can find me on Ravelry as lilwestie. You can find show notes on the blog, mastadon.wordpress.com. I'm on Facebook, just not as active there. And of course, you can find me here on YouTube. With that, I hope you have a wonderful week ahead, and I'll see you in my next episode. Bye! If you need help with anything in life, please seek an adult to your adult. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Oh, there's no hope!